coming into this country.
Yeah, for more, let's welcome in Executive Director of America First Works, Ashley Hayek, and former Georgia Congressman Jack Kingston. So great to see you today. Congressman, I'll start with you. We know Trump's going to make the southern border his first priority on day one, and then obviously announcing these tariffs. Do you think that this will work?
Absolutely. It worked before that, and reinforce the Remain in Mexico to reinstate it and stop catch and release and start building the wall again. And then with Tom Homan deporting those that are the greatest threat to public safety, that sends such a strong signal internationally. And for Mexico to have turned a blind eye to these caravans and all this immigration and pretend like it was beyond their control is ridiculous. And what the president did with this very important post on True Social is to say, you need to do it now. You need to start today. And that way, maybe you can prevent these tariffs. Maybe not, but I mean business. And that's what this election was all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Ashley, the New York Times is now reporting that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called Trump after his Truth Social post on tariffs, and they spoke for about 2 hours about trade and securing the border. What does that tell you about how seriously other world leaders take Donald Trump?
Well, can you imagine Joe Biden having a 2-minute conversation with Justin Trudeau or any other world leader? This is just goes to speak to the quality of candidate that we have, the future president that we have, the future of our country. You know, there was a mandate on November 5th to bring back the America First policies, and that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. We're seeing the market correct itself. We're seeing legislators take action already. I think that we'll also see, Canada and Mexico take action, and we're seeing things shake up overseas as well. So I'm very optimistic about moving forward. This is a man who is a strong leader. He has proven promises made, promises kept. He's going to do it again. January 20th cannot come soon enough, and I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way.
Yeah, Congressman, today incoming border czar Tom Homan, he's going to visit the southern border with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. You know, there's a lot that he needs to undo. We just saw a couple of days ago a 2-year-old who came over without her parents over this border. There are hundreds of thousands of children. We don't know where they are. How fast do you think Trump's policies, will take effect on the border, and how fast can they make this country safe again and essentially maybe even find those children who are missing here in the country?
Well, I think that they're going to send a signal immediately, even already doing so. And I think that Tom Homan is the man for the job. He's this, kind of bulldog linebacker type tough guy. But people don't realize that one of the things that really changed his view on the border was when he saw a truck that had 19 bodies of would-be illegal aliens coming in who were smothered to death and died of heat. And it really changed him. Included in that was a 5-year-old child, by the way. So underneath that gruff, tough guy personality, this is a guy who does have a big, big heart, particularly for children. Yeah. And he has consistently talked about these 300,000 children who've been lost by the Biden administration and how we've got to reunite them with their parents and get them situated.
You know, it's amazing. Tom Homan visiting the border today with Greg Abbott, and Kamala visited the border, once in 3.5 years? Trump's not even in office yet. 55 days, as Chris Alenzo told us, and yet they're already starting to work ahead of time. And I know that Trump continues to add to his White House team. Tom Homan, a great selection there as border czar. He added 3 more members last night, including a senior aide to Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, James Braid, who will be the director of the Office of Legislative Affairs. So a lot of new additions there. But when we look at a lot of these people, it's funny. CNN has some things to say about a few, but really lately, they're starting to like Trump's transition team. Never thought I'd see the day. Take a listen.
If 8 years ago Americans were lukewarm on Donald Trump, at this particular point, they're giving him much more the benefit of the doubt. A lot more Americans are in love with this transition. This much more meets the historical norms where normally presidents get that boost coming out of their victory. And what we're seeing here is Donald Trump's presidential transition is getting a thumbs up, and dare I say, 2 thumbs up from the American people.
Wow, we should run that back. We just had a guy on CNN give Donald Trump's transition team, 2 thumbs up. What do you make of that, Ashley?
Well, this is the most diverse coalition of people, and that was what the campaign ran on, was how do you pull in people from different backgrounds to have the best administration that represents the American people, whether it's, Robert Kennedy Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard or Pam Bondi or Linda McMahon. All of these people are America First people who believe in prioritizing the forgotten man and woman. And that's what President Trump is all about. So, it does not surprise me that CNN is having, I'm sure it's painful for them to have to admit this, but this is a group that has ideas to move forward in a vision. That is what the Democrat Party has been lacking for so long. Yeah. They were not able to offer any solutions in this new administration, whereas President Trump and his colleagues were able to do that.
Yeah, we're seeing some move forward, but then you go to The View, Jack, and we all know how they react. But something interesting happened yesterday. I'm going to play what Whoopi Goldberg had to say. Take a listen.
We're going to wait and see because we can't do anything else except.
I'm not going to wait and see. I mean, this guy is told that he's a retribution. He's going to be a dictator.
There's nothing to be done until you know what you're fighting. It's pissing in the wind doesn't help.
Okay.
Wow. Amen, Whoopi. Never thought I'd say that.
So essentially she's saying, look, there's nothing to say right now. Right. Let's get him in office and then you can complain or you can critique. But the other ladies are like, no. And they're against it. What do you make of that little change of what Whoopi had to say?
Well, I think it's significant knowing that particular crowd. And by the way, you did say you go to The View. No, I never do go to The View.
We bring it to you.
But one of the things that's interesting with the Matt Gaetz dropping out and the immediate appointment of Pam Bondi, this shows an administration that actually does have a plan B for these appointees, these nominees. They know what they're doing. They've been thinking about this for 8 years now. What did we do wrong in 2016 in those first critical 60 days? How can we avoid those mistakes now? James Brard, who you mentioned in charge of the Hill relationships, his team has to deal with 535 egotistical Democrat and Republican congressmen and senators. And that's a very difficult job because you got to be able to be nimble, go to the Hill, take care of individual people's problems, report back to the White House, and pass legislation. But he picked 3 people who are extremely competent, who know what they're doing. They are known quantities. They know the Hill themselves. And this is just a small example of how smoothly things are going with this new transition.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone's just wanting to turn the page right now. I say everyone, not everyone.
Turn the page.
Yeah.
Ashley, yeah. So it's been 3 weeks since Donald Trump won re-election, but some news outlets seem to be in denial. This headline from Politico: Trump won less than 50%. Why is everyone calling it a landslide? Ashley, he won nearly 50%. He got 312 electoral votes. This is ridiculous.
California is still counting ballots, right? And so that was part of the reason they wanted to challenge, is they didn't want President Trump to win the popular vote, which is just ridiculous. They don't want to accept the fact that this is actually a mandate by the American people to accept these America First policies. But, you look at the entire team. President Trump filled an entire cabinet in 18 days. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's had multiple press engagements throughout the course of the campaign, which Kamala Harris and Joe Biden didn't. One of the things we heard from Jen Psaki just yesterday, I believe it was, or maybe it was the day before yesterday, was how she wants to regulate the influencers now. Well, they can't win this election. They're not changing hearts and minds. So instead, they want to regulate people out of existence, just like they want to regulate all of our businesses and all of our energy out of existence. But I think that goes to show you the mindset of the left versus the mindset of the right. President Trump has an incredible team around him. The other 2 gentlemen that were mentioned or that were named yesterday, Matt Rousseau, who has incredible political experience, Alex Latcham, who's been with the president for a very long time, running Office of Public Liaison. It's going to be a very exciting 4 years. This is an administration. They've been through the trenches already. They know what's coming, and they're prepared, and they will have the entire movement, the America First movement, behind them.
On a lighter note, Jack, I know that you're a turkey hunter. Thanksgiving is just a few days away. We saw 2 lucky ones get pardoned. Clearly, that was not one of the lucky ones behind you. Did you, is that one of your specialties? Did you shoot that one?
Yes, and ordinarily you do eat them, but I actually got lucky and killed 2, which is legal in the state of Georgia, on one hunt, and so I had them both stuffed, so they would be forever together, just like Romeo and Juliet.
Just like Peach and Blossom.
There we go. At least they died together. All right, both of you, enjoy your Thanksgivings. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.